Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Today, we're going to go over the CADAA and FAFSA application, so the California Dream Act application and the free application for federal student aid workshop. My name is Peter Magana. I'm the outreach counselor here at Cal State Fullerton for the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. And today, we're going to be discussing the overview of where you can apply and why to apply for these applications, the step-by-step instructions on how to complete the CADAA application and FAFSA application, and other important information that came with the new launch of the simplification of the FAFSA. So some financial aid terms that we'll be discussing that you'll see repetitive on this presentation is CADAA, which stands for California Dream Act application, FAFSA, which stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid, COA, which is Cost of Attendance, SAI, which is the Student Aid Index, which is one of the new changes, FWS, which is Federal Work Study. So why do you need to apply? So in order to receive any assistance with completing your undergraduate degrees or postgraduate degrees, you have to complete the CADAA application or FAFSA application, depending which one you're eligible for. Once you submit those applications, if you are selected for verification, then there are some documents you might have to submit to our office in order to ensure that we provide you with an accurate award estimated. And once we have reviewed those documents, then that's when we'll be able to offer you your financial aid award letter. So when do you need to apply? So the FAFSA application and CADAA application are now available for students to submit. We do classify two priority students here at Cal State Fullerton. The first one being any student that submits the CADAA application or FAFSA application by the April 2nd deadline will be considered priority one. So they'll be given priority first, depending on aid that's available for them to receive, depending on income information and asset information. They would have to submit their documents by the priority deadline, which is still to be announced. You'll have more information if you do have to submit that documentation on your portal. And then we have priority two, which is students who submit the CADAA application or FAFSA application after the April 2nd deadline. They will also have a document priority deadline. It's still to be announced, but you'll be able to find that on your student portal and the due date that's listed on there. So just ensure that you submit those documents by that priority deadline to be considered for the maximum aid you can receive. So which application to submit? So there are two. So the first one being the FAFSA application. The FAFSA is open for any U.S. citizen or non-eligible citizens who have a valid social security number and have a valid high school diploma or GED. And then we have the CADAA, which are students who are living in California and meet the AB 540 requirements, have a U visa or a TPS status. So depending on those requirements, you would decide if you qualify for the FAFSA or the CADAA based on these requirements listed here. So types of financial aid available for FAFSA applicants. So we do have grants. We have federal aid, which includes the federal Pell Grant, federal work study, and we have state aid, which includes a variety of some. Some are given depending on income information and asset, which are Cal Grant, State University Grant, Middle Class Scholarship, Chafee Grant, the EOP Grant, and the Learning Aligned Employment Program. We also have federal loans, which include direct subsidized and unsubsidized loan, Parent Plus loans for dependent students, and any private loans that you wish to apply if additional funding is needed. We also have scholarships that are offered through Cal State Fullerton and as well as the CSU system, and any other outside scholarships that you apply for. So in order to apply for scholarships or be determined for scholarships, some of them require you to have a FAFSA application. So it's important to submit those that could qualify you for, if not the scholarship, for additional grants and loans. So available for FAFSA applicants, the federal work study. How can you be awarded federal work study? It's a typical question that we have here at Cal State Fullerton. You have to answer yes on the FAFSA application, and you also have to meet the eligibility requirements. So making sure your SAI, which is in the range of qualifying for federal work study. If you do get awarded federal work study, where can you find these employments? If you go onto the Cal State Fullerton Students CSUF Career Center, you'll be able to find all the employments that are listed here at Cal State Fullerton. Some of them are federal work study, some of them are not, so it does specify if it's federal work study or not. Types of aid for CADAA applicants. So since the California Dream Act application, students are only eligible for state-supported grants. So that includes Cal Grant, State University Grant, Middle Class Scholarship, Chafee Grant, the California Dream Act Service Incentive Grants, and the Learning Aligned Employment Program, which is similar to the federal work study. There are also loans available. So we do have a dream loan, which is very limited funding. So not all the students who submit an application get offered these loans. It's a first come, first serve. And we also have private loans. So that all depends on the lender, and some of them have different requirements in order for you to qualify for these private loans. And we also have available scholarships within Cal State Fullerton and the CSU system, and any outside scholarships that you might qualify for being a CADAA applicant. So some frequently asked questions. Do we start a new application or renew my application? If you are a first-time applicant, you start a new application. If you're a returning applicant, then you renew. Renewing is just transferring the information that you previously filled out. So any personal information is already transferred to the application. You will just have to update your income and asset information. What documents will I be asked to provide in the 2024-2025 application? Will be required to submit the 2022 federal tax return. So that includes the first 2 pages of the 1040. How to apply for federal work study? Be sure to answer yes on the question that asks you if you want to be considered for a federal work study. So making sure to apply by the priority deadline, which is April 2nd. So here are the 2 QR codes for the CADAA application and the FAFSA application. So I'm just gonna give you a quick moment to either screenshot or scan the QR code so it could take you to the landing page. Next, we'll go over the step-by-step instructions for both of these applications. So just a quick second for you to scan that. So once you scan the QR code, depending on which ones you qualify for to submit, we do have the California DREAM Act application to your left, and to your right would be the FAFSA application. Once you get here, if you are a first-time user, then you would click for the CADAA application, first-time user. If you're returning, if you filled it out previously, then you would log in to make changes or resubmit. Or if you are a parent signing the DREAM Act application, then you will go ahead and submit the application there. For the FAFSA application, similar to the DREAM Act, we have a start a new form or edit existing form. Depending on if you're a first-time user, then you would click start a new form. Or if you're a returning user, edit existing form, and it will let you submit the new FAFSA application that is now live. So for both applications, for the CADAA and the FAFSA applications, once you click on returning user, it welcomes you and it tells you that the following questions will be best decide whether you qualify for the DREAM Act application, depending on the different questions it's going to ask you right now. So it does ask you to, if you are a FAFSA applicant, then you would use your FSA ID to log in to your application. So as previously mentioned, it's going to ask you some questions. So for the DREAM Act application, it is going to ask if you have a Social Security question. So depending how you answer, we have a yes or no. If you do answer yes, it's going to ask you, did you obtain this U.S. Social Security? Was it granted by the deferred action status? If you answer yes, then it would ask you if you meet the qualifications for the AB 540, and all the requirements are there. If you answer no, that you don't have a Social Security, it will prompt you straight to the, are you qualified for AB 540 status? And depending on the requirement list here, you would answer yes or no, that best applies to you. For the FAFSA application, if you don't have an FSA ID, then you would create one. You would just have to enter your personal information, so first and last name, date of birth, and Social Security number. For student personal information, so once you have logged into the FAFSA and CADAA application and it will be asking you to fill out the personal information, which is just reinstating your first and last name, date of birth. If you have a Social Security, enter it, and your mailing address. This is what it typically looks for both screens. So once you have filled out your student personal information, we don't go over the income information since it's different for every student depending on filing status, if they worked or not. So those questions would be asked before this. So once you have completed the income information, we do have this school selection. So depending on the schools that you are going to be applying to, or if you're going to be renewing your FAFSA for Cal State Fullerton, be sure to include our school code, which is 001137. And then it will all ask you as well your student housing plan. So if you're going to be living on campus, off campus, or with parent, and that's how we build your cost of attendance budget for the year. So once that information is inputted, we do have a quick information guide for dependency status. So any students under the age of 24 are considered dependent and have to report parent information unless they could answer yes to the dependency status questions that are listed on the application prior to entering parent information. So some of the questions that it does ask you is, are you married? If you answer yes, then you're considered dependent. If you're pursuing a master's or doctoral degree, or if you're active duty or military veteran, then you would be considered independent. There are other questions as well, so make sure you do read through them. And if you are able to answer no to none of those, then you would have to report parent information unless you do have a special circumstance. So entering parent information for the DREAM Act application is going to ask for marital status. Are they married, remarried, divorced, widowed, unmarried, living together? Depending on how they either file taxes or their marital status, you would enter that and enter their income information. So one of the changes for the FAFSA application, you no longer have to enter your parents' information. You would have to invite them to enter their information. So they would have to create an FSA ID. You would have to enter it here, the first and last name, date of birth, and I will send them an email letting them know that you have invited them to enter their income information. So we could determine your student aid. So once you have entered your parent information for the CADAA application, it's going to ask you to sign, and it's going to ask you as well to sign for your parent, or your parent has to create a PIN and log in and sign, or you could print out the form and mail it in. For the FAFSA application, it's going to ask you to make sure that you have provided everything with accuracy and you had invited your parent correctly, and that you agree that everything you submitted is correct and accurate, and you would sign. For the parent signature for the FAFSA, you could still print out the form and mail in the FAFSA application to the address listed here. If your parents, for the CADAA application, if your parents don't create a PIN, then they could go ahead and mail in the student signature page to the address listed here. So before you go, a little review of what we went over. When is the priority deadline for both the CADAA application and FAFSA application? It is April 2nd, 2024. So be sure to submit it before the priority deadline to be considered for the maximum of aid you could get. Students should submit both application, the CADAA and the FAFSA application? No, only submit the application that best applies to you if you're eligible for it. What tax information will be used for the 2024-2025 CADAA or FAFSA application? It would be the 2022 tax return. So that includes the first 2 pages of the 1040. So just a little reminder, keep applying for aid every year. So the application is set to open again next year, and it's currently open for the 2024-2025 application. So you would have to submit it before the April 2nd deadline. Continue visiting your homepage to make sure you don't have any to-do lists on your account or any additional documents you have to submit. If you do have to submit the documents, make sure you submit them by the priority deadline so you can have your aid available by the time school starts or the semester starts. And then once we have reviewed that documentation, that's when we'll be able to provide your awards, and you'll be able to see what you're eligible for the upcoming school year. Important resources. So this is the information we get from the Department of Education and the California Student Aid Commission. So for the federal student aid application and FAFSA information, you go ahead and visit www.studentaid.gov. For the California Student Aid Commission, it's www.csac.ca.gov. And then for the DREAM Act application, it would be www.dream.csac.ca.gov. Our office information, so this is our phone number. Our information is listed on our website, listing our hours. They do change from season to season, so it's different every semester. If we have frequently asked questions, we have them on our website as well. If you want to submit a ticket to our office asking us a question, if you can get a hold of us through phone, you could do that as well. We also have a Zoom and phone counseling appointments. So if you want to meet with one of a counselor, myself, or another member from my team, then you'll be able to set up an appointment to discuss any questions you might have. If you want to stay up to date with information we inform our students, you could follow our Instagram page at CSUF_Office of Financial Aid. And just a quick thank you. That's our presentation for today. That's our workshop. So if you do have a quick minute, if you could scan this QR code and letting us know how we did, or if we filled out the application and there's some information that we didn't discuss in the application, you could let us know and we could go ahead and update our workshop presentation, including that information if it's available to every student as well. So just a quick second for you to scan this QR code. And again, thank you guys so much.